I love that scene so much, though. Sometimes I watch the last 5 minutes of Lower Decks season finale just so I can watch that again. Because that's how I do. What the hell was that?
What's happening?
Car outside.
Oh, okay.
I still live in downtown. There's still traffic.
That's true. Why, hello, and welcome to issue 592 of Geek in the City Radio. I'm one of your hosts, Aaron Duran.
I'm one of your other hosts, Bina Rita.
And I am your other host, Cable Hush Time.
What's shaking, nerds?
Hey. It feels like it's a fairly mellow start to the week.
That's good.
Yeah.
I think Cable summed it up best when he said, it's a Tuesday.
I mean, it is
fair.
both true and it seems to be a statement of the times.
Tuesday gonna Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. It has taken exactly 3 seconds for someone in the chat to say, so Q's got a big one, huh?
Oh, God.
I don't know if Cable saw that thread.
Yes, I did. I 100% did. I mean, I've seen the story. I haven't seen Q's Q.
Right. I have never heard that story until this morning. It completely. I think the best part was without missing the bait, Kenneth Mulgrew said, "Oh, I know."
Like, they've been friends for years. They were friends long before Trek.
Oh, I know. I mean, they both came up in the TV trenches, you know. Mm-hmm. So what happens in network TV stays on network TV.
Sure. That's entirely likely.
Was she a soap opera person? No. I know Delancey was.
Mulgrew, I'm sure she was.
I'm sure everyone in that era has done it before, you know, so.
There's one surefire way to find out.
I'm checking right now.
Okay, while you're looking that up,
go. Yeah.
I want to get one tiny beef out of the way here.
Okay.
Right, small cows.
Especially since everyone keeps using the phrase, I can't wait for things to go back to normal. I look forward for things to go back to normal. And I'm not a monster. I understand that there is a difference in what people mean when they say, I want things to get back to normal. It means I miss the connections that I have with people, and I'm looking forward to actually being in the same physical space with people I love and cherish and want to be around.
Yes.
When they say that's the normal they miss, I get that, and I know that. But the majority of people, when they say that, mean they want things to go back to the way they were, which means higher traffic volume, weekly shootings, generally being dicks to each other, and engaging in capitalism willy-nilly until we destroy everything. And to that I say, fuck normal. We are not going back to that.
Right.
By the way, if that is included in part of your definition of, you know, the undesired normal, or the normal that other people just tie that into, the shootings things is already back. So
no, I know. Like, all of this is back. Everything that I've just said I've watched take a rise in the past 3 weeks. Like, people are extreme dicks to each other. There's too much traffic. Like, there are honkings, there are sirens every day. You can hear some of the traffic that's been passing by the window. It's garbage.
Yeah. I got nothing. I don't know.
I'm just trying to think
everyone still needs to stay home until June. Wear your masks, get your shot, stay home till June. Knock this shit off. Period. I have spoken.
Also, I want to apologize right now. People who watch this on YouTube, you're going to see me blowing my nose a lot, and there's not a whole lot I can do about it. So,
some people that's with me pay on real money for that.
You know what? Fine. If you want to enjoy that, I'm on like prescription strength allergy meds right now. Like, my doctor was like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna double up everything for you." Like, okie dokie. Which makes it fun because the first hour or so after I take the pills, I feel like drunk and stoned. Like, I kind of wobble Everything's kind of like when you turn your head and the world goes, well, let me catch up. Like it's a lot of that.
Maybe you should stagger the different medications.
No, she said, take it all at once.
I don't mean like don't take all of them every day, but like if let's say they were all medications you took once every 24 hours, take each one at a different time of day each day. This is my 8 a.m. medication, and this one I take at noon, and you know what I mean, right?
But the person with the PhD said take them all at once.
Oh, what? I've had it up to here with people who think they know everything because they have a PhD.
Smooth. Wow.
No.
Kitten's got clouds today. Sorry.
Obviously do whatever your doctor says, but it might, I don't know, it makes sense to me. Like if you're getting a weird reaction, to sort of not take them all at the same time so that they each separately have a chance to start doing their thing.
I think really what it is, I have real Sudafed again, and my body hasn't had that in years. So really quick, Ryan's Hope was the soap opera she was on from 75 to 89.
There you go.
Look at that.
Yeah. And yeah, Zach's right. She was also Columbo's wife.
Yes, she was.
Yeah. That's a show I would love to come back.
Columbo?
As a reimagining of Columbo.
I don't really know anything about Columbo as a concept.
It's magical. I don't know if you'd like Columbo. I kind of think Peter Falk would annoy the hell out of you.
Well, no, like literally back up. What is the show about?
Oh, it's
He's a private detective.
Yeah, who he is very unassuming to the point to where it's annoying how unassuming he is. He drives a horrible car that barely works. It's Peter Falk. He always has the same trench coat cable, like the same fucking brown PI trench coat. And he basically solves the murders by you get the impression he tends to know who the killer is within the first 15 minutes. And Columbo always starts by showing you the murder. Like, you know who the murderer is right off the bat. It's all about how Columbo breaks the suspect. And he does it by basically annoying them. And it's always one more question. Now, let me get this straight. He just
annoys them into confessing.
But in the most charming, what you finally realize towards the end is he's always got him dead to rights. Like, he's also a brilliant detective. It's just the way he goes about it.
I think the best way to describe it for the modern audience is Monk is the spiritual successor to Columbo.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
But without the
unassuming bumbling detective who's actually really smart. It's they replace that with I'm
anxieties.
I'm not neurotypical, but I'm also still a genius.
Yeah, no, that's true. Yeah, that's totally Monk. Like, he's and it's that thing, or Columbo. Everyone underestimates Columbo when he is assigned to a case, because you look at him, you're like, this guy, that's who they sent to come after me.
No one takes him seriously.
Yeah, no one does, like, ever. And Peter Falk just plays him brilliantly. He's just wonderful.
Which I'm going to throw back to something that we discussed a couple of weeks ago. I know you hate this particular part of this, Aaron, but I think that was part of the idea of casting James Corden as the insurance inspector in Ocean's 8.
Oh, I just saw that.
Affable and goofy. And it's like, this guy's no good at anything, and yet he knows exactly who's done what. But he also knows what he can and cannot prove.
I can see that. I should revisit Ocean's 8, see how I feel. I think it's good. Yeah, I think I got annoyed the whole idea of the detective to begin with. I was like, I just want to see the heist and then watch him get away with it. I don't. That's what I wanted, but that's all I ever want from a heist movie. Set up the plan, pull off the plan, get away with the plan. Yeah,
except that's not how the plan works. It's
I know.
Make the plan, execute the plan, wait for the plan to go off the rails, throw away the plan,
and then and then reveal your other real plan, your other real secret plan.
Which is part of the plan all along.
Right. That was the first plan was just the fake plan to throw everyone off my scent.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
I just love that part with the amazing yen in the first one. Where the fuck you been? The one fuck you can get off and you can get away from in the PG-13 movie.
Yeah, I don't know if I would enjoy Columbo then. Just the sort of like, I'm smart, but I'm not kind of a thing.
I don't even know
Is-
where Columbo's streaming. I don't think it is.
But I watched that HBO, like, it's basically, it was a prequel to the Perry Mason show, also called Perry Mason.
Yeah.
That was great. I loved that.
That felt really odd. It took me a few times to get into it. I had to finally remind myself, this is not the Perry Mason that you're used to at noon on Coin 6 for the last,
Right.
decades. And, and once I put in that mindset, then it played for me.
I didn't really, I mean, I still don't know that much about him, but I was led to understand that this is basically like the Perry Mason that everyone knows and loves. This is how he got to be that guy.
Yeah, and apparently it hews closer to the books than the show ever did.
I heard that also. So
yeah,
they do a lot of really good background or behind the scenes stuff, because it's HBO.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was good. Anyway, Kate Mulgrew. Although speaking of her, they just released the first animated image of her as Janeway in Prodigy.
Mm-hmm.
Looks cool.
And that's going to be the Nickelodeon Star Trek, correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
So apparently Paramount Plus will get it 24 hours before it drops on Nickelodeon. Like, that's the deal. It's a Nickelodeon show.
Mm-hmm.
So like, say it comes out Friday at midnight for Nickelodeon, or like it plays on Friday morning on Nickelodeon. It'll drop Thursday/Friday at midnight on Paramount Plus, as I understand.
Okay.
So yeah, I got no idea how that's going to play. All I can think is that for some reason in my head, I feel like Janeway is going to be almost like an EMH on this ship.
She is.
She is? Okay.
They explained it in in the panel where they revealed that image.
Oh, I missed that.
She's but it's not for medical, it's for training.
Right. Because it's a training ship that's lost, basically, from what I remember.
They are going to end up in the Delta Quadrant.
Oh, geez.
And yeah, instead of having a prototype of an EMH, they have, I don't know if it's a prototype or just the way they do it at that point in time, but they will have a holo captain for training purposes.
Right. Anyway.
Oh, shocker.
Sack just mentioned something that's going to annoy us. I knew it was coming. I think you read it too.
Relevant to our conversation, yeah. Our account, Multnomah and Clackamas are back to high risk. Start as of Friday. Also, why when you want to escalate the risk level, why do you put it off for a number of days?
The only thing I can think is to give like restaurants time to
switch gears. Yes,
yeah,
but that leeway of like their business practices, that's what should be given a number of days. The risk setting should be initiated immediately so that patrons recognize and know, like, no, sorry, I can't do that.
Well, the whole reason why we're back in it is that patrons don't care.
Yep.
There's that. It's also, this is what we've been doing now for close to a year, that we have not stopped to figure out there are better ways to do this, or like all of that implementation needed to come from the executive branch on down. And
you're talking federal level.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, it should have been a presidential mandate that then goes to the state level, and state governors make that a state mandate, that each city and township then has to have their mayor enforce that.
Right.
And too much of the damage was done during the last guy's administration to undermine all of that. So they're trying to make an infrastructure work that is half broken.
Yeah.
Well, and the only solution that anyone can think of in order to like keep the economy up is to make everyone go back to work. How else can we help people with their financial problems?
Yeah.
Tax billionaires.
I know.
Tax billionaires.
I feel like even on this show, we've had this conversation multiple times.
Yeah.
Like, the answer is never going to change.
I think to kind of guide the conversation back to what we wanted to talk about today, yesterday was First Contact Day.
Yeah. Everyone should have had salmon.
We did. I made salmon. Did you guys make salmon?
I saw that. No. We don't eat salmon in my house.
That's true. And I had a mad craving for hot dogs. So I made the most like wanky, like fancy hot dogs. I love putting that. I always forget what it's called. The seaweed. It's the Japanese Furikake. Yeah. It's so good on hot dogs.
I would say that Zephyr Cochran would want you to celebrate First Contact Day however you feel is appropriate.
I did do a shot of tequila and dance to Ooby Dooby.
See, that's great. Ooby Dooby, Ooby Dooby.
That might be one of my favorite parts is him trying to dance with the Vulcans while he's trying to get him drunk.
Mm-hmm.
And then look at that Vulcan when he sits down like, oh, great. This was my first contact. Fantastic.
Like I'm going to, like I've already had a sip of this horrible liquid. I'm going to drink more of it because I can't think of anything else to do.
They might like it.
Do Vulcans like tequila? Is that canon?
No, he clearly is pouring them whiskey in that one.
Oh, okay. But anyway,
and they might.
That's
Agave
true.
grows in deserts. Vulcan's basically a desert.
It is true.
Yeah. Anyway, that's it.
That's some good logic there.
So I've been looking at the timeline. Like this is the first, like granted, this is the first year I've celebrated First Contact Day, but it's also the first time since the movie came out in '96 that I've realized First Contact Day is in 42 years.
I know.
Which is feasibly within our lifetimes. I'd be 92.
I'd be 70 something.
It's in 2063.
I'd be 79.
So I'll be like 85.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is that we have to survive World War III.
Which is possible. That's when people go, well, we didn't have the eugenics wars. We didn't have cons. So that.
But we did.
Yes, we did.
Yes, we did.
Also.
It was just happening quietly.
It's also called white supremacy. And it's still going on.
It's not white.
I've never stopped to think about the fact that, yes, technically we've already had situations that could be referred to as eugenics war. And now I'm really sad.
And then it's like, oh, well, we haven't had the Bell riots. What do you think we're in the middle of right now? This is the Bell riots.
Yeah, just longer versions of it.
Yes, and more widespread, which makes it more realistic.
Yeah.
There's real life has a bigger budget.
I mean, not anymore.
No.
Trek's got some mad budgets now, but back in the day, if you were going to film Best of Both Worlds parts 1 and 2, then you know what? Your next episode, it's going to be in a grape grove.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to get a farmhouse and we're going to get grapes. And that's where we're filming the fucking episode.
It was like one of the producers' backyards.
I guarantee it was somewhere just in California.
Yeah, for sure.
Although speaking of that,
sad now.
That Picard trailer, season 2 teaser.
They alluded to a lot of things in that.
There's a lot, and not just TNG related.
No.
That
was the Stargazer.
The Stargazer. I think that portrait of the Enterprise is very intentional.
Hmm?
That's an older Captain's Ready Room portrait. There was also that tablet, that's broken stone tablet when they're doing the initial push in.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that is the tablet that Cisco broke in season 6 that released the paw wraiths.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, from I think the episode's called Reckoning.
Mm-hmm.
So if that's true, like that's really fucking interesting.
And especially panning over the copy of Paradise Lost.
Yeah, which is the most heavy-handed hint you could ever fucking do.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, I do believe Q has referenced Milton a couple times also.
That feels like something Q would do.
And then, of course, not only the reference to Q, but very specifically the Queen of Hearts.
Mm-hmm. Rules through the one who rules the looking glass.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I even enjoyed the fact that it's a set of cards on a I think I was talking with Bean about this a few days ago when we both decided to quit chatting and save it for the fucking show.
Right. Oh, that was yesterday.
It was yesterday. Time is meaningless. Lunchtime is
a flat circle.
Yeah. So I think it's actually very intentional that it's a deck of cards on a chessboard.
Mm-hmm.
So there's always the assumption that Picard and Q are playing chess. And that's never actually really it. It's poker.
Mm-hmm.
It's the human element. It's the bluffing. It's the faking out each other. It's not chess. It looks like it because Q dresses like the queen, but it's my favorite Q. That outfit.
A queen.
Yes. I really hope that we get the more malevolent Q. I was never a fan of Q as the wacky trickster that they just that's not true. John Delancey's always a delight to watch. I mean, he's always fun. I feel like eventually Q became an excuse for the Trek writers' room to kind of fulfill their own like shitty desire to tell really bad jokes or to be quasi-racist. Like, no, it's not us, it's Q. I'm like, yeah, but that's not what Q would do. Like Q's so much above that. You've made him into this bumbling, wacky, mon capitan buffoon, and that's not how he works best. Yeah, so I hope we get a return to that. I hope we get the Q of, you know, All Good Things, Tapestry.
Yeah, because Tapestry, he had humor, but there was a lot of gravitas to that episode.
Yeah, it's the, all right, Picard, I'm going to give you what you want. I'm going to give you your real heart, or you're never going to, that Nausicaa's never going to kill you or stab you or whatever. And yeah, here you go. Here's your life.
So I have two things there. Oh God, and now I'm going to lose track of both of them. There were a couple more, in my mind, they were not like specifically like Star Trek Easter eggs, but they were some overt hints about what to expect. There was the hourglass on the desk with the sand running up, i.e. like the, you know, in theory, like reversing time. And the fact that the whole teaser starts with time is the final frontier.
Yeah.
So I was thinking there might be some, it would almost be kind of silly because Discovery already did that, but it's I think there's a chance that there might be some time traveling aspect, or maybe even just something like you were saying the other day is like revisiting the past.
Yeah, I've got,
especially with that comment about like going over in your head the things that the choices you didn't make.
Yeah, especially that. Yeah, Picard's got a new body, but they said like he's still going to age normal. So if he's however many years old, it's how many years he still has left. The body isn't a reset for it. And when you get to be that age, that's when you really begin to ponder, like, what could I have done? What could I have done different? What should I have done different? And one of the things it was touched on in the early seasons of TNG and then kind of let go, is that Picard has never dealt with his own personal original sin that he himself still carries guilt for, and it's the death of Jack Crusher. He's never forgiven himself for that. Beverly has, Wesley has, he never has. And I think that still is his greatest guilt, that maybe that's what they're going to start exploring. And maybe the Stargazer's too heavy-handed of a hint, but that's where part of me would want to explore. Like, is that and Patrick Stewart gave an interview during yesterday on First Contact Day where he said, in season 2, Q makes his arrival at Picard's most shattering, devastating moment.
Oof.
As I know it, that's 2 times. That's the destruction of Romulus and not able to save more Romulans. And it's a Stargazer. He's kind of dealt with his issue with the Borg, especially through Picard season 1. He's come to terms with the Borg and his actions by the Borg.
Mm-hmm.
He's come to terms with his best friend dying, with Data dying. So his 2 biggest ones are still fucking up Romulus, which you could argue has been kind of worked out, and the Stargazer. The death of his best friend that he ordered. He told Jack, go, you have to do this. So
that seems more likely. I don't know that they've really addressed everything with Romulus. Yeah.
No, they probably haven't. And I think that's intentional.
Because that is a much larger story point. Like, you know, we saw an entire planet of Romulan refugees who still recognize him on sight and are still pissed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
clearly.
Right.
The other thing I wanted to mention while we were talking about it was, I kind of can't stand Q. I know, like, Aaron's over there dissecting like the times that he's a better character and times that he's not so much. And I haven't seen all of the Q episodes, but I know I've seen enough of them to know that I don't think there's any time that I particularly care for that character. But I like John Delancey because I know the difference.
That's true, and that's going to be a good thing to revisit later on, I believe. I think I have mixed feelings about Q. I don't know that I have ever really been 100% on board. I think part of it is I have very specific ideas about omnipotent and omniscient beings. And why the fuck would they care what humanity does?
I mean, yeah, I agree with that sentiment, but everything about like the Greek and Roman gods is, all powerful, omniscient, omnipresent beings who were all up in human business. So there is a precedent for it.
There is, but those are all stories written by people from the perception of godlike beings of people. Godlike beings, if they exist, don't care. Why would they? What, like, if you have a mind that can understand and grasp the infinite, right. See, I can't even parse it because my brain is limited. I can't think the way an omniscient being would, because they can think about everything. They are everywhere. They are everything simultaneously. That's the kind of stuff that drives human brains crazy.
Right. And so, like, why would they bother with any of our foibles?
Right.
Let alone have their own foibles.
And I get why we do it in media, because we like to think that greater beings than ourselves would want to watch our drama and our exploits, and maybe they would learn something from us while we're learning something from them. It's a great narrative. It also doesn't feel like it's a real thing.
No, I personally am very much of the belief that if there is a god or any number of gods, they don't give a shit about us.
Yeah.
They're certainly not watching each and every one of us do shit or, like make good choices on a day-to-day constant basis.
Or they are watching all of us simultaneously
and
all
letting
the time
it happen
throughout time, because time doesn't mean anything to them. So all of this is happening right now. All of it happened. All of it will happen.
Right.
Again, time is a flat circle.
But to what purpose?
Nothing else to do.
There's lots to do. The universe is infinite. It's endless.
Yeah. I mean, I guess you could argue also there could be a thing where maybe the continuum really doesn't have anything else to do anymore. So it's let's see what all these species are doing. Or it's that thing of like, we know they're going to surpass us one day. So let's see if they're worthy of it. I mean, there's reasons why.
And I get that that's the conceit of the show is like, well, we think that the humans might actually catch up at some point.
Yeah. It's that on a much smaller scale, but it's that same theme in Enterprise when basically Archer is told by, was it Admiral Saval?
Mm-hmm.
Of like, humans have done in 50 years what it took other species centuries to do. You scare us.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's unnerving what humans do when they decide like, fuck it, because we're space orcs.
Yep. It's like you were moving too fast.
During the stream yesterday, there was a funnier iteration of that. It was the episode where Quark takes Nog and Rom. They all go to Earth because Nog is joining the Federation.
Mm-hmm.
Little green men.
And they get traveled to the past and are the Roswell incident. But on the ship on the way there, Nog is spouting off factoids about the human race and like all of the things that they've done, and Quark is just like, yeah, they're fucking primitive, and he's like, no, but they've done all of these things in just this amount of time. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah,
but no, scary is the right word.
Mm-hmm.
Though I do like on that episode too, it's revealed that like, for as much as you're supposed to look down on the Ferengi as this horrible, hyper capitalistic, greedy society,
Mm-hmm.
I love that Quark's always like, you know what, Frankenar, we didn't poison ourselves with chemicals. We didn't pollute our atmospheres. We never had a nuclear war and created weapons that would wipe out everyone else. It's that whole thing. Not to say the Ferengi system works, but I kind of like his outlook of like, you know what, we did all that. So how bad can our system be? We got to here too, but without nuking each other.
Mm.
You know.
They did it the good old capitalistic way, which is on the backs of the workers and their families.
Yes, but one could argue that they're just constantly exploiting themselves.
Yes. Like, no, I still agree with Quark's point. Like, Quark was the greatest and sharpest critic of humanity because he was always right.
Yeah.
He's like, no, they've done some great things, but also they used to blow each other up with nuclear bombs.
I mean, he made a Vulcan question her choices of being in the Maquis. He's like, where's the logic in selling weapons that you're just going to blow each other up about? And she's like, you're just afraid it'll cut into your profit. And he's like, yeah, so my way's better. Nobody dies and I still make money. And I love that Vulcan goes,
I mean, it's logical.
Mm-hmm.
You can't be mad at that if you're a Vulcan.
It's true. So yeah, Picard season 2 has me very intrigued. Jump into the lower decks, or go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh no, I was going to go that direction. I don't know what I expected out of season 1, and season 1 of Lower Decks was such a gift. Like
it was.
The last episode of season 1 is still probably one of the top 10 episodes of Star Trek.
Yeah. It took about 3 episodes, I feel, for me personally, for them to find their comedic footing.
Mm-hmm.
Once they realized they didn't have to just fire off jokes every 30 seconds, that you could let the story drive the humor. And they hit that around season 3, episode 3.
It did get a little less manic after the beginning.
Yeah.
But they still would like throw in, like, they would still do a lot of like really good rapid fire Easter egg jokes.
Oh my God. Was it the 7th or 8th episode where they just completely aped the Enterprise from Star Trek the Motion Picture?
Oh yeah, where it's nothing but lens flare.
Nothing but well, that's the Abrams, but that yeah.
God damn.
And like the bridge crew like literally touching each other as they look at the at the Cerritos and
yeah, that
it
was that episode. That was
Jeff's kiss. Was that the last one
fantastic.
also?
No, that was
No,
that was the holodeck episode. Then that was where we really got into where we started really getting deep into Mariner's issues with her mother.
that was Mariner's therapy when it was amazing.
Oh.
And being confronted on her own prejudices when what's her name is like, I not Orions or pirates, and I don't like that I'm dressed this way. I don't like this. This is not cool. Yeah, it's just. I kind of knew it'd be funny. I didn't expect it to be that charming of a show. If that makes sense.
It has so much heart, and it is so very much Star Trek. Yeah, I still want answers about Orions. It just fascinates me what they've been doing with like clearly in Discovery's season 3, there's more of the we went back to the old ways, but there's something there within the Orion society that seems to not want to be that anymore.
Yeah, I always got the impression that Orions didn't really have I don't want to say like a society per se, but they have an overriding. Orion's always kind of felt like maybe, I don't know if there's a book that's ever explored this, but this impression I get that Orions have been spacefaring for a long time, and shit went south and completely fractured their culture. So they became scavengers and pirates and smugglers and slavers out of survival. And then that just became their thing because that was easier to do than to rebuild. Because what's the point? It's all going to shatter again anyway. Because I've always liked it that there was the Orion Syndicate and then there was the Orion people. And I always try to see those two very different things. Yeah, I'd love to see that explored more anyway.
Agreed.
Yeah, not a whole lot to say on Lower Decks other than it looks amazing. I mean, we get the Mugatu.
I love the Mugatu.
Oh my god. I can't believe they would do this, and I think it probably is just going to roar, but I would love the idea if you find out that Will Ferrell is the voice of the Mugatu.
That would be great.
Yeah.
Now I want that.
Watch out for its poisonous horn. We got Mariner and Riker's daddy issues fighting whatever the hell that fucking game was, where he and his dad could just beat on each other.
Not Parisi Squares.
No, that's the weird thing that Bashir plays in his unitard, right?
Yes, and that like you can apparently break bones and severely injure yourself, possibly die while playing this game. It sounds like the dumbest game in Starfleet.
It does, and it seems like a really horrible combo of fucking racquetball and like highlight.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, same rules as racquetball, except the thing is made of stone and could kill you like in highlight.
What is highlight?
Highlight?
It's the
I don't know.
So remember in the first Tron, do you ever see the first Tron movie?
No.
Oh, so highlight is that
I've never
game.
seen any of the Trons.
Highlight is that game where like it's really big in Cuba and like South American countries. It's really big in macho countries, which is dumb. It's the thing you wear on your arm, like at this giant scoop, and you have the ball in it, and you like fucking fling it.
Yep.
And that thing gets flung at like 190 miles an hour, like an obscene amount of speed.
And it's not a pliable material.
No, it's like clay or some shit. And they all wear helmets, and I don't know. It's like a weird combo of like polo and rugby.
It kind of sounds like that game they play in Battle Angel, which I can't think of the name of right now.
Murder Ball?
Is that what it's fucking called?
I thought so. I could be wrong. I don't know.
Yeah, it's considered the fastest game in the world.
Motorball.
Motorball. Okay.
Yeah, the game looks terrifying. I don't know how it works, but it looks terrifying.
Motorball, murder ball. You get
Same thing.
where I get confused.
So yes, that's the game Bashir likes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then there's so we really only got, like, we say trailers, but these were just teasers.
These were just teasers. Like
we
none
got-
of them were.
It's nothing but
None of them were a
speculation.
full minute.
Yeah. So then we get Disco season 4. It's so weird to think.
The little
Maybe
engine
'cause-
that could.
Well, no, I think it's because the seasons are so short
Mhm.
Mm,
that my brain goes, really, season 4? But there's only been 30
right,
episodes.
yeah. Modern seasons.
Right. I don't know. Looks cool. There's a wave that's going to destroy the galaxy again.
Mhm.
I'm just here for them fucking uniforms, man. I
I'm-
love them. Love
I'm
them.
glad they went back with the color blocking.
Me too. I didn't mind the gray, but damn it, I want color in my. I want that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's already enough gray in that show. They live in that gray zone.
They do. I don't know. When I saw in the trailer, in the teaser, he might eventually, but I don't think we're going to get Saru in the uniform for a long time, if ever again.
There's a shot of the close-up where you've got Burnham at the front.
Mm-hmm.
In the background at the science station, there's a tall Kelpian in red.
But it doesn't look like him.
It's hard to tell. It's very fuzzed out, but it's clearly a Kelpian, and
Right.
it's
And there's
clearly
only
tall.
we only know so many of them.
Yep.
Try to find that shot now.
Half Cardassians. That was kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's established. I don't remember when that Cardassia does join the Federation.
They kind of have to.
Yeah, there's not much left.
Not the last time we saw it.
No.
That's.
Um,
I guess I hadn't thought about that. We really haven't seen anything of Cardassia since the fall, since the Dominion War.
same with Bajorans.
Bajor went largely unscathed, right? Because they didn't join the Federation.
That was the whole point when Cisco was like, "Don't join."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because if they had joined, the founders would have burnt that planet.
Yeah. Their neutrality is what kept the Dominion away from attacking.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they would have tried to conquer it eventually, but it didn't make them a priority.
Right.
It looks like I'm forgetting characters' names, but it looks they probably hinted that what's their name will be made flesh, brought back in a way.
Gray.
Played
by
they kind of
Ian
said
Alexander.
that. Yeah, and they kind of said that was always the plan, like that was going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Was hard to tell because there are too many quick shots. I was trying to see if Tilly had an extra pip on her uniform.
I'm sure.
I like her as number 1, but for the love of all that is holy, make her a lieutenant at least. Come on, cut her a break. What is she, Harry Kim? Harry Kim 2. Harry Kim 1 died. I always forget that.
That's right.
That first Harry Kim, he would have been promoted.
Oh man.
I was 2 days away from promotion.
Yep. And that was replacement Harry Kim and replacement Naomi Wilder.
That's right. Yeah.
No, stop it. Accidentally clicking links. I don't want to click right now.
Yeah, Norm just said last time we saw Cardassia, it was broken. Yeah, it was hella broken.
Mm-hmm.
And in fact, Martok wanted to do more breaking.
Yep.
Yeah. Martok was feeling the old ways.
Oh God. Sack is on fire with the one-liners today.
Pip slips.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's pretty good, Zach. You wouldn't want a pip slip. I also want to know, and I hope it's somehow addressed. So they haven't mentioned fucking Klingons at all since season 3 of Discovery.
Nope.
Like no mention of them, nothing.
Because I think they need to figure out what they're going to do with them.
Yeah.
Like,
I think that is Saru, by the way, in that background shot. I finally found it.
In red?
Mhm.
That means he's taken a command role again?
Yes. I don't think he took a demotion.
No, but was he? I guess he was never science. He was always command path, huh?
He was science on the
Shenzhou. Yeah. Speaking of which, that's the one thing we didn't get. No hint about this legendary Section 31 show. That is allegedly still happening.
Interesting. It didn't even occur to me that they didn't mention it at all.
Yeah, Michelle Yeoh's been a busy woman.
Yeah. Part of me thinks that's what part of it is that they got Michelle Yeoh, in season 1 of Discovery, and they fucking love her because who doesn't love Michelle Yeoh? And they're like, we got to give her a show. All right, what show? Section 31. And they announce it, and they're like, okay, now I guess we have to write a Section 31, but she's busy like all the time. What do we do?
I think the showrunners are writing it.
Yeah.
Because they were executive producers on season 3 of Discovery.
Right. We didn't get a teaser for Stranger Worlds, which makes sense because I think they just started filming within like the last 3 weeks. So I bet we get, if I was a betting man, I bet we would get a Strange New Worlds teaser when Lower Decks wraps. Because we're going to get Lower Decks, Disco 4, and then Picard is next year. So I wouldn't be surprised to see a Strange New Worlds teaser when Lower Decks wraps up. Like, because it'll be like, whatever. In 2 months, then you get the Disco 4 trailer, like real trailer. And then it says, but then also coming, probably get a real Picard trailer. And then they'll be like, and just wait. And then that's where you get the Strange New Worlds teaser.
Yeah, it's still not scheduled to come out until 2022.
Yeah. And they just started filming. Yeah, man, it's a good time to be a Trek fan. I'm happy. It's been a good feeling. And so far they've all been quality.
Oh, and they talked about the Nichelle Nichols documentary.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. I saw a still for that and went, oh, okay, I'm on board with that.
That was I think that was maybe one of the longest panels yesterday.
And wasn't that partially crowdsourced also?
That I didn't pick up on. I don't know.
Or are there competing documentaries about her now? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. This is the only one I've heard of, and it was yesterday.
Okay. Is it the Women in Motion?
Yes.
So apparently that already had a limited release too.
Oh.
Like a limited, but it happened in February of this year, so it's not like they could do a whole lot about it. Yeah, Shout Factory did it. Okay. Yeah.
Good for them.
Yeah. I think it was partially crowdsourced also, I believe. Just cool. Speaking of which, Voyager cracked the 1 million, the Voyager doc.
Really?
Yeah. So I guess the big deal on that is that's going to allow them to do a lot more stuff with Kate Mulgrew, I believe. And they will also be able to HD all the scenes will go. There's like an asterisk to this, but they will be able to have all the Voyager shots in HD. The asterisk being is they have to get Paramount/CBS to agree, but I can't imagine them saying no to that.
I think they'd have to take a very egregious stance.
Yeah. Especially since DS9 did it.
Yeah.
And this is the same production crew.
Well, that will be fun to watch. I'm glad that they met their goal.
Yeah, it's really cool.
It's always fun when Kickstarters that you know of and enjoy hit their goals and then exceed it greatly.
Cable think we'll ever get an Enterprise documentary?
No, I don't. Because I don't know that the fan base for that is as
I don't know.
I think they're
Like-
as like I think they're still faithful to the show, but I just don't know that there's enough
Yeah,
because
I know.
You
people
show
who
me
try-
one person who is as touched, like in their soul, by Enterprise as anyone was for, TOS,
they're out
TNG,
there.
Voyager, even Voyager.
They're out. Well, clearly Voyager's $1 million.
Yeah.
They're out there. Look, every Trek is someone's favorite Trek. Even the animated series is someone's favorite Trek.
this is true.
Enterprise, though.
I mainly just want it so that we can get a lot of Manny Koto just being really annoyed that Berman and Braga boned him.
They can talk about their shitty series ending.
I would pay for a documentary just to have 25 minutes of unfiltered Jolene Blaylock.
Okay.
Because I know Koto was he pushed hard for her to be able to take control of her character.
And
it clearly shows.
yes, when the episodes that she's in control and she's allowed to be the Vulcan that she was playing, she's great.
Right.
When she's just there to be
Eye candy?
tits and ass for Star Trek, it doesn't work.
Right.
It's frustrating.
No.
Like, yeah, the more that anyone learns that it's like, oh wait, she was a major Trek fan. She loved Star Trek, and then that was her experience. It's just frustrating.
Yeah. Yeah, very much so. Just saying, if they do it, you would have to call it. It's been a long time.
Not long enough.
How dare you? How dare you?
I feel like they would actually just go for the more obvious play and call it Faith of the Heart.
I'm good with that too.
How did they come up with the name What We Left Behind? That's a reference to something, right?
The final episode, what you leave behind.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
What are they calling the Voyager?
I don't remember.
Hmm.
I don't remember. Norm just said you could watch it with a tray of baklava.
No, get out.
Oh yeah, apparently Norm is one of the really Norm Enterprise is your favorite
His favorite?
Your favorite Star Trek, or you're just a Bakula fan? I didn't quite pick
Well,
up.
that's understandable.
I thought he just likes making Bakula references because Bakula.
That and Delta Shift jokes. That's his new jam.
Apparently, they're calling the Voyager documentary "To the Journey." Looking
The
back
what?
at to the journey. Looking back at Star Trek Voyager.
Because I think that's what Janeway toasted when they got back. Or I think that's something Janeway had said to the crew before. To the journey. Sorry, it was a bad Janeway voice. I apologize. I feel bad. Actually, I really like Kate Mulgrew. I've liked her in everything she's ever done.
That was a season 1 Kate Mulgrew.
I know.
You know what my
voice.
favorite
Which is what I
Kate
always-
Mulgrew
Which is what I always default to. For
My
me,
favorite.
Orange is the New Black is mine. Just the angry
Yes.
Russian.
Oh my god, yes. That
Fuck
is
you
my
up.
favorite Kate Mulgrew. It's also the most time I've ever got to spend with her. But she's just brilliant in that character, and the story is, has a lot of pathos to it. So
She was the only reason I liked that show. I mean, I eventually had to cash out. I couldn't take it anymore because it just became too ridiculous.
Natasha Lyonne is probably my favorite part of that show, but Kate Mulgrew is she really sells it.
And I've
Tasha
talked to you
Leone.
before. My other problem is it's hard for me to watch prison shows because I know that's not how they work.
Right.
Mhm.
It's hard for me to disconnect that.
You have a favorite Natasha Lyonne? Cable.
Oh, Russian Doll.
Oh man, that show was brilliant.
I can't wait for that to come back.
Is it coming back?
They're doing a second season. I don't know.
Did not know that.
They are, because they mentioned from like the same setting, but from someone else's point of view, I think is what they talked about.
Oh shit. Zach mentioned for Kate Mulgrew, I guess his favorite is NTSF SUV. It's it's just a bunch of letters because it's a parody show on Cartoon Network, you know, like their late night adult stuff.
Oh, okay.
It's a parody of police procedurals.
It would have to be.
Unique New York.
Unique New York.
And she's in that. She wears an eye patch. That's all I know.
Oh, that's cool.
But I have been tempted to watch it because she's in it.
I think it would also be fair for anyone to say that, you know, her role in Remo Williams is their favorite.
Oh, that's right.
What?
Oh man.
It is
Was Remo Williams the adventure begins?
Yeah.
And then never.
It's a ridiculous 80s action movie.
85.
It was a comic book come to life type of adventure.
Oh my God, Dick Clark produced it.
Of course he did. It did have Wilford Brimley, and it had Joel Grey in Yellowface, and which is just a difficult part to swallow.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I think that's why I didn't watch it until I was an adult, rather as a kid. That was the first movie that I went, wait a minute, that man is an Asian. What?
As Master Chewin?
Yes.
Yeah, I remember I think it was Orion Pictures, because it's based on The Destroyer, like these 150 novels.
Yes, that's what it's based on.
That are just really bad, like toxic masculinity, like I have to shoot, punch, or stab my way out of it. They were kind of the last of like the adventure action man dime novels you used to be able to buy. And they're so bad. And I think Orion thought they were buying like the next Bond franchise. And this movie made no attempt to make it serious at all.
Aww.
I kind of would love them to do a sequel. Just called The Adventure Continues.
I don't know that Fred Ward is he's still alive.
He's still alive.
I don't know that he's quite up to being.
He's 78.
Yeah, no.
In a weird way, that's what makes it funnier.
How old is Sir Patrick Stewart?
Yeah, but something tells me Sir Patrick Stewart has lived a healthier life.
He also works out.
Yeah, and smokes a lot of weed.
That
Allegedly.
would be young. He's a celebrity. He can do whatever he wants.
I mean,
that's not an endorsement. That's just the culture we live in.
He's also Sir Patrick Stewart. That's usually what gives him the.
Knights also can do whatever they want.
That's what they thought.
I just realized, though, do you think there was a moment while filming Picard that when they were done filming for the day, like he and Frakes just lit up and just smoked each other out? Like, because Frakes has been known to enjoy it. He does it for pain issues, but
I would say, you bet your ass Jonathan Frakes smokes.
I just love the idea of them in like Stewart or Frakes' trailer just lighting up and fucking eating pizza and just talking about the good old days, just fucking token like smoke coming out of the trailer.
That's gonna be like my next tweet. Is like, dear Jonathan Frakes and at Sir Pat Stew, please let me smoke you out and just hang out while I watch you two be high and weird together, reminiscing about the good old days. Because
I think there's that video of like Patrick Stewart's like in the bathtub and his wife records him high. And he's playing with with a stuffed animal or something, or with his dog. It's precious, but he's clearly baked.
Oh, hold on. Sidetrack here.
Yeah.
Zach is asking if we're all familiar with the story about how Patrick Stewart learned that he isn't circumcised.
Oh yeah.
And I am both appalled and need to hear this story right now. Like, can we call Zach in right now to tell this story?
No, but when we wrap up the show, I will play you the video.
No.
Because he reveals it on the Graham Norton show.
Oh my god. Okay.
Next to Hugh Jackman. It's hilarious.
Oh wow.
right,
were they
then.
doing like promos for the X-Men or something?
For Logan.
Probably Logan.
Logan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well then. I don't know where to go from here.
Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Okay.
Yep. I think it's Sam and Bucky time.
Yeah, salmon bucket time, salmon bucket time. Everyone be nice to fucking
Yeah. Do we want to
So,
start with that or end
Kurt
with that
Russell's
part?
kid. No,
I
let's
think
start with
I-
it.
Start with it? Okay.
That's what I think.
So,
That way we end on a positive, not on an angry.
well, that makes sense. So I want to address this. Basically, this is not a new thing. We've talked about toxic fandom before.
Just
I
a week
honestly-
ago.
Yeah, I honestly don't know whether or not these are real things that are happening. Not that, like, if Wyatt Russell came out and said, "Yeah, I'm getting death threats," I 100% believe that. If I'm just seeing this as headlines on clickbait websites that I know are clickbait for fans, I don't have a hard time believing. It's like, is this real, or are you trying to drum this up to sell clicks, to sell advertising on your website?
Which does happen.
Yes. Regardless, I do think fandom in general needs to be reminded that actors are paid to play roles and characters that are not real.
Mhm.
And if you hate the character they are playing, that means you like the work that the actor is doing because they are making that character as vile and hateable as they need to be. I think the most modern of this that I like pointing to is Alina Hetty, who is a fantastic actress.
Yeah.
Would cast her in anything.
Mm.
And the vitriol that she put up with for years at San Diego Comic-Con and other Comic-Cons for her portrayal of Cersei Lannister.
I mean, yeah, the poor kid who played her son, who played Joffrey, quit
Mhm.
acting.
I would too.
Same with the guy who played Lucious Malfoy, quit acting for a long time
Mm-hmm.
because of how badly he was treated by the public, because they hated the character, so they hated him.
Yeah. And Tom Felton's great.
Yeah.
Like, I was really happy when they cast him in third season of The Flash. I was sad that he was not going to remain on as a regular cast member.
Right. Yeah, he was great.
Like, what Wyatt Russell has been doing with the character of John Walker,
Mhm.
aka New Cap, aka actually U.S. agent,
Right.
is fantastic because
Absolutely.
he is very real, very flawed. I 100% believe that the character believes he is doing the right thing, and that he is doing his best to live up to the mantle that he was just handed,
Mm-hmm.
which makes him so much so endearing and yet so annoying simultaneously. It's like, oh yeah, no, I get it. Your heart's in the right place. Your intent is there. You're still a dick.
Especially with episode 3, like they start revealing more and more of his character flaws, I guess you could say.
Mhm.
But are they character flaws? If you were handed the mantle of Captain America and said, you have to be everything that this represents,
Right.
I would break under the stress of that.
In terms of living up to the original Captain America, they are character flaws because, who can live up to that? But
No
that
one.
doesn't mean, that's not to say that they aren't relatable behaviors.
Yep. They're
necessarily.
very-
I mean, there's plenty of people who've been that guy, and they may or may not be proud of it, but they did it, and they did it with good intent, or ultimately.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I think that it makes a excellent portrayal of, here's an honest critique of maybe how we are seen by the rest of the world as Americans.
Yeah.
Like, we want to do the right thing, but we're not great at doing it the right way.
No. Oh, and there's that whole conversation on the plane where Zemo is talking about, well, the problem is he's an idol. Captain
Mhm.
America is an idol, and when you turn someone into an idol, here are all the different bad things that happen, and it basically is a summary of the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Mhm.
I didn't think that I wanted that much Zemo in this show. I didn't expect
So
him to-
good.
I
I
love
didn't
that
expect
actor.
this portrayal of Zemo. Like, oh man, he's the exact critic that needs to come in at this time. He's perfect for that. And I like the fact that, as angry as he makes both Bucky and Sam, they listen to him because they're listening to the parts of what he's saying that are right.
Right.
They are managing to put aside the fact, it's like, we don't like him, we don't trust him, he makes us angry, but he's not wrong.
Right.
And that's impressive.
Yeah, and we're clearly going to get more. That's probably going to make him more of a villain in a way, but not, I don't think much, honestly.
I will say this, Marvel has done a fairly decent job of, actually, let me back that up. A lot of creators have started doing like that, developing that villain character, but also you really understand where they're coming from, or like, okay, well, this is bad because you want to wipe out a bunch of people, but your reason for doing it is kind of good.
Right.
And
They're
what?
I feel like the current writers are really taking to heart the whole phrase is that a villain is only a villain to us. They're the hero of their own story.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's really playing out in these shows now.
And this is the show to do it. Like,
Mhm.
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure how they're going to finish these conversations, or if that's their intent, is to finish these conversations within the next 3 episodes. That's the part that
I know,
throws
there's
me.
only
It's like,
3, I
there's
know.
3 episodes left, and there's a lot on the table.
Oh, I didn't realize it was going to be so short.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they're longer episodes. They're like 45 minutes each, so that helps.
It
Still,
always feels close to an hour. Like, it really does.
Yeah, I mean, the
even
credits
even Game of
tax, yeah.
Thrones never did less than 8 episodes in a season.
Mhm.
Or is-
But
Yeah,
like,
but look how that ended.
I do feel that they are really trying to dissect patriotism
Mhm.
and oh man, my brain. All of the isms that go along with this, like nationalism and
Which is different from
Ze-
patriotism.
yeah, and xenophobia, inequities inherent in capitalist systems,
Yeah.
like the showing of the organization that's been trying, the global something repatriation,
Global repatriation. Yeah.
like, and showing what that organization wants to be and what it actually is.
Right.
Like, that was very telling.
Mhm.
They don't seem to be pulling a lot of punches.
No, and so far, the Flag Smashers, well, in episode 3, they kind of cross the line when they kill people. They're just, guards. Like, they're not actively oppressing people.
And
the logic is this is the only language that they understand. They think, well, she thinks that she's doing the only thing that's going to be heard, be understood,
Yeah.
that will get a response.
Right.
Which again is like, I think I talked about at the beginning of this show, is the language that they were using for the Flag Smashers, where it's like, we don't want borders, we want this, we want that. It's like, those are all anarchistic ideals that always get co-opted by fascist movements because they sound great. You can recruit people with them. And then by the time that you realize that you've become a goose-stepping Nazi, it's too late.
Yeah, and you're starting to see that divide, that moment in the car when he's like, why did you do that? Now you're seeing the divide of the idealist versus someone who's now taking their ideals and twisting and manipulating it for their own power.
Right. Yeah, she totally thinks she's doing the right thing for the right reasons.
Well, and she's clearly coming from a place of pain also, because losing her mom when her mom could have been saved. Also, fucking Madripoor. That's a Madripoor. That's a whole. How's it going, X-Men? There was a decided lack of Indonesian people in a country that's supposed to be in Indonesia.
Yeah, that's all I have heard from Asian Twitter. It's like, where were the Asians in Mulgrew?
I mean, I feel like the comic kind of established that it was like way more international because it was a pirate haven, and but the shows have never done that. And the show specifically said this is the part of the world that it's in, and the people that live there are not in these scenes.
Yeah, and like comic fans understand that.
Yeah.
But that is not everyone that's watching these have read comics.
And that's, I mean, I'll be the first to admit, when I saw, as you say, like Asian Twitter get mad about it, I was like, but in the comics, Madripoor was always like, oh, wait, I'm coming with 30 years of knowing X-Men books and what Madripoor is within the comics. That's not been built up in the MCU at all. You've just been told that it's a place off the coast of Indonesia that, oh yeah, it was a pirate haven. All right, there's not a lot of Asian people in Madripoor. Okay, I get it. I'm sorry.
Yep.
Yeah, and the truth of it is, if there were a real city of Madripoor that had been sort of de-governmentized because it is a pirate haven, that doesn't mean that all of the local nationals would have departed necessarily. Some of them would just get incorporated into that new.
Well, yeah, in the comic, Madripoor is very much, are you an outcast from your society? Come here, start your life over. That's why mutants all go there.
Right, but was it uninhabited before that?
No. It was inhabited. And it does still have a predominantly Asian populace.
I guess true, the comics do show that.
But they're also the everyday people.
Right, yeah.
And what we saw
were the hustlers.
No, not all of them.
And that's unfair.
Yeah.
But also very colonist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, yeah, it would be. The people the indigenous people are the common folk, the peasantry, the workers, and everyone, who lives a nightclub life with stolen fine art is white, or there was a lot of black people too. I didn't really notice a lot of brown people. But they are all obviously like of a certain financial class.
Yeah. Although, speaking of clubs, can we talk about Baron Zemo dancing?
I've seen that GIF shared so much in the past.
So the story broke today because they interviewed the actor. There's apparently like 5 minutes of him dancing. That's not in the script. That was him doing a scene and realizing he's like, you know what? Zemo's been in prison for how many years? There's people around him dancing.
They were off the clock.
No, they were like, and then the actor's like, you know what? I feel like probably, Zemo's been caved. He's been closed up. He looks around. He's kind of feeling the music. So he said, I just started dancing. And he admitted, he's like, I'm part Spanish. So some of that Spanish desire to do like a really bad flamenco came out. Apparently there's scenes where like he's dropping to his knees and like shaking his butt, but apparently he didn't tell anyone. And he said, I glanced over and I saw, what's his name? the actors that play Falcon and Winter Soldier,
Mhm.
just losing it. Like no one knew he was just gonna start dancing. And he's like, I didn't think they were gonna use any of it. I had no idea they were gonna use any of it. So now there's this whole thread on Twitter right now that's like, release the Zemo cut so we can see the.
You know, knowing that exists and knowing that that was their reaction, that actually makes a lot more sense about the on-screen chemistry between the three of them.
Yeah.
Like, I've already been enjoying the on-screen chemistry between. You're right. I have forgotten all their names.
I know. I feel bad. It's been a long day.
I know that Zemo
I've
is
just-
Daniel Bruhl because I really like that guy.
Yeah.
That's all I got though.
Is the German voice of Lightning McQueen in Cars that I found out today
all
on the
right.
German dub. Yeah.
But like Sam and Bucky always have a good rapport, and then Zemo just added a completely different element, and I'm like, you guys work really well together.
Oh, really good. Anthony Mackie and Sebastian Stan.
Thank you.
Uh,
I think I'm at the point where I'm like, I think he should be in the rest of the season. I'm going to be upset if he's not.
I mean,
at least the next couple episodes.
that could be the plan.
Yeah. What do you think about Sharon Carter potentially being the power broker?
You know, that seems to be the odds-on favorite theory. I know Merrick looked at me and said, "So is she the power broker?" when we were watching it.
And of course, the appearance at the end of Oduye, which was awesome. I know about 24 hours that they were like, you're Zemo. Confusing your black women. That is not Okoye, that is Oduye.
Yeah, that's Okoye's second.
Correct.
And her charge was Shuri, right? Like Okoye protected T'Challa.
Yeah, technically, yeah.
No, it was
Wakanda's gonna want Zemo back. Bad.
The first marble, I'm like, I don't know what that is. And the second marble, I'm like, oh shit, I know what's about to happen.
Well, and the music had a slight, by the second or third marble, a slight score, like theme from Wakanda. Like some of the drums and rhythm kind of kicked in. Like it's like an undertone of that part of the score. I'm like, oh, well played.
Is that?
Speaking of which, the score of that show is really fucking good.
Yeah, it is.
Got good music.
Yeah, it was that second marble that I'm like, I remember those. That's Wakandan technology.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, this is gonna get bad.
It'll get real bad, but real good.
Yeah. I think she should just join the party and like it's like the weirdest Fellowship of the Ring ever.
So she could also not move her seat up. That cracked me up. You're not gonna move the seat up, are you? Nope. So good.
That was a great throwback to Civil War. Yeah, I honestly didn't see so much of that episode coming. I especially didn't expect. I kept expecting Zemo to run off the entire time, and to have him go, "No, I'm going to kill the one guy, and then I'm going to help facilitate your escape and steal a car." And I thought that was pretty great. I like the reveal that it's like, wait, you're rich? It's like, I was a baron.
Is he really a baron? I thought it was just one of those goofy, comic book villain names sort of a thing.
In the comics, he was actually a baron.
What is he the baron of?
A barony.
I think it's called a baronet.
Is it?
I think so.
I think the internet saying.
What is the baron? The baron. What is a baron? The baron of. Maybe baronet is what they call it when you've been bestowed the title. Baronet versus baron is a thing.
What, baronet?
Yeah. I was a Oh no, a baronet is something below a baron.
Because that's what what's his name
Barony
was.
is both the title and the land held in fealty by a feudal baron.
Thank
Because
you.
what's his name from Crimson Peak was a baronet, but not a baron. Loki.
Oh.
I did love that when getting on the plane. Like, you have your own plane? Are you rich? I am a baron.
It's like, have you been rich this whole time? Yes.
Yeah.
And then he gets on his plane and has his own wood house.
Oh my God. And how much did I love, like, in German, he's like, if it has turned, give it to them.
It is good to have you back, sir.
And the smile on that, the smile on that guy going, okay, Baron, good.
It's a funny joke, Baron. Yeah, he's got a thing with cars.
I mean, look, if I was stupid rich, I probably would have a car thing too. I fully admit that.
I do want to give a shout out to one of the best cold opens of a show. Like, Prison Break cold open for that episode was fantastic. It's like, no, I'm just saying, something, maybe one inmate starts a fight with another inmate and those things escalate. Well, why would they start fighting? I don't know. These things happen. Just the outlining of everything, and then having Zuma walk in is like, what the hell? It's like, I didn't tell you because I thought you'd say no.
Here we go.
Which leads me to believe that is exactly how Bucky performed everything that he did in World War II. And every conversation they had with Steve, it's like, so, this could happen and this could happen and eventually this would happen, and so that would put us there. It's like,
when you can see Steve saying, Bucky, that's not a good idea. I mean, theoretically.
And then it still happens. It's like, Bucky, what did you do? I didn't want you to say no.
It makes sense because Bucky was the one who had to pull off, moderate scams growing up in Brooklyn to keep little Steve safe. So, yeah, Bucky's kind of got that slight little, moderate.
A little bit of a sly dog.
Yeah, moderate crimes. Like, for the greater good.
The greater good.
The greater good. Harmless crimes.
Yeah. I mean, it only hurts Nazis, so it's fine. It was cool. I did enjoy the thing where Sam, in that scene in the bar, got to see for the first time really Bucky doing Winter Soldier shit, and he was unnerved by it. When he realized, like, oh, this is what this guy could do when he doesn't hold back. And even there, he's holding back.
Right.
Even
though Zemo was like, well, it didn't take him long to get back into the swing of that, did it?
Yeah, but Anthony Mackie had this quick moment on his eyes when he sees the fight, and it's like, oh, this guy's a killing machine.
Yes.
And if he ever lets himself go, I'm screwed. That was that look of like, oh, shit. Which makes that conversation more poignant the episode before when he says, if Cap was wrong about you, then he was wrong about me. It's, for what is essentially an action thriller show, it's got some smart writing. It's got some heart. I'm really digging it.
It really does. And I think that's what the showrunner, I think it's like, I've only heard one bit from the showrunner, and that was the fact that it's like, when people watch this, they're going to get a very decidedly black superhero show.
Yeah.
And I think that they have continued to deliver on that, where it's like, you are discussing things that we don't want to discuss.
Yeah.
And you're doing it inside of a superhero TV show.
Exactly. And I really appreciate that so far, all of the Marvel shows on Disney Plus, granted we're only in the second one, have all been different, but are still serving a larger story in their own way. And I feel like Loki's going to do the exact same thing.
Oh, man.
I'm trying not to pump myself up anymore for Loki, but every time I see more about that, I'm like, this just looks bonkers.
It looks like fucking Legends of Tomorrow.
Legends of Tomorrow, but with like an amoral Doctor Who. I'm like, oh, I'm so on for this.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be a lot of fun.
And I saw the new trailer and I love that little bit with Owen Wilson. Like using all those metaphors. It's cool. It makes you sound smart. I am smart. Yeah, I know. Okay. Okay. I just like
You love
kick back.
to talk.
Talk. Also, some of those scenes in that second trailer of Loki give off a very strong Douglas Adams Hitchhiker Guide to the Galaxy vibes with like, and slightly Brazil with all the bureaucracy.
Yes.
I need you to sign this. This is ridiculous.
It started out and I was like, oh, this is going to be super Kafka-esque. But that
like, what is this? Everything you've ever said.
This is ridiculous.
Yeah. That's the Brazil part right there.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And waiting in a queue. That's the Douglas Adams.
That's
I
Kafka.
really thought the other guy that's in the TVA jumpsuit that they're waiting in the queue with Loki. I had to watch it a few times to convince me it wasn't, and it's not. But I really thought the guy on the other side of the screen was the kid from Deadpool 2. It's not, but that would be hilarious if they just put him in there. You know, because he's fucked. Because he's the one that Cable sent back to kill because in the future he kills Cable's family.
Mm-hmm.
He's the chunky New Zealand kid.
Oh, yeah, he's been around a lot lately.
I've been keeping it in my prison wallet. Don't ask him what that is. Don't ask him what that is. So yeah, it's a good time. The next week we'll be talking about episode 4, Falcon Winter Soldier.
Mm-hmm.
4, yeah. And then we've got what? Maybe a week before Bad Batch kicks in.
Bad Batch launches on May the 4th.
Hell yeah, it does.
Hey.
I'm convinced that it is just someone's job at Disney Star Wars to monitor that date and monitor the goings on at Star Wars so they can go, when's this coming out? Oh, we're shooting for this. Your new target date is this because of this. Oh, okay.
Also, speaking of which, I just want to say it's so nice to finally have someone at CBS/Paramount that realizes that Trek has this thing and they are making First Contact Day like a thing, the way May the 4th is a thing. Like, thank you. Fucking finally. Thank you.
Exactly.
How long before breweries have special beer days?
Well, in Portland, there's always a May the 4th beers.
For First Contact Day. That's why I'm referencing that. Is because
if only we knew someone.
You brought up May the 4th, and I was like, oh boy, be fully vaccinated by then. And there's that tap room that does May the 4th
Imperial.
Specials. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the one.
They may not this year because that also requires breweries to do special one-offs, and almost every brewery is in survival mode right now.
Right.
But for First Contact Day next year, I wonder if we know someone who does brewing and maybe donates equipment to this show.
Somebody who has his face on a can, maybe?
I mean, we might know somebody.
That reminds me, I need to put an order in.
Yeah.
Hey, Denise.
Yes.
How do we make sure that you're a delivery driver?
Order it before, I would say technically before noon on a Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. If you order past like 3:00, you're almost certainly not going to get it until the next day. But my Revernat's delivery driving days are Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. So if you order from him on those days or roughly thereabouts, you'll probably see half my smiling face.
Or Thursday evening, right?
Yeah, if you ordered on Thursday evening.
That's when I placed mine, and you showed up, and later on you're like, I'd rather have carnitas than the tip. And you wound up getting both.
I did. Woo!
All right, noted.
Yeah, there. I would hold off because somebody might have told me that there's going to be a special going on this weekend.
All right.
Yeah. Well, I'm not going to say it for him because, well, he doesn't pay you for advertising. He pays me to do work, so that's different.
That's fair.
Technically doesn't pay us either. He has donated material because it is actually illegal for a liquor place to have sponsorship in Oregon under the OLCC. He's not a sponsor. He just helps us out.
Mm-hmm.
Such a stupid rule, by the way.
It is dumb.
It's super dumb.
But yeah, there's something special coming out later this week. So this
All right.
weekend is probably going to be a good time to order.
I will keep eyes peeled.
Yeah.
So we know what we're talking about next week. Merrick wanted me to remind you that April 26th is also a nerd holiday.
Oh yeah.
Processing.
Maybe we might want to watch a specific movie so we can then talk about it on the show the following day.
Yeah.
Since April 26th is a Monday.
Oh, okay.
Yes, it is.
What I got to ask you, Cable, is this going to be a stand-up fight or another bug hunt?
It's gonna be bug hunt.
How do I get out of this chicken shit outfit? Well, hell, that's cool to do. We should remember that. Yeah, lock that in.
All right.
Yeah.
I wish we knew someone connected with that, even in comic form, we could have on the show, but I can't think of anyone in the area.
Yeah, and all that's at Marvel now, so I don't know.
Yeah, I just picked up the first issue. It's not bad.
Wait, first issue.
That's a ringing endorsement.
No, I got to revisit it. It's good. Like so many things when aliens, by the way, people, like so many things with that setting and universe, it is not serviced by the monthly issue format. It is serviced by complete stories.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I do like where it's going so far. It's kind of neat.
Good.
Yeah. I think it takes place like 30 years after Aliens. So it's kind of neat how they do it. Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. Well, with all that, I'm Aaron Duran.
I'm Vina Rita.
And I'm Cable Hashitani.
And we will talk to everybody next week. Watch out for xenomorphs.
They're huge. And they spit acid.
Bye.
I don't know how to